something that he's had phenomenal success on, but isn't going to give them a whole lot of laning power in the very early game.
Yeah, it's a trade-off of how strong Alistar is into Rel and some of the Rel engages and how you can just straight up deny. You can even deny Neferian.
I think Yukal may need to use some abilities. He flashes, Sponge is here, but Yukal is really dead. That is going to be first blood going over to Ona.
Turned in this mid lane after this play. As you can see, Yukal goes in Viz, tries to use the weirding device space to get back to spawn.
Followed him with the flash. Yeah. Carrier pretty good at this game, isn't he?
He is quite solid. Early map prowess.
Well,
speaking of,
standing on vision. Does manage to crash down, gets himself away, and also eats an ignite. Carries in the bottom lane without teleport, so never mind. That's not going to really pay too much of a difference here, as Ona now in trouble. Only level 5 as Sponge goes untargetable, but Ona's very targetable. It's Yukal that grabs that kill here as Carrier has to get out of there, and these grubs belong to DRX.
Yeah, if Owner had denying grubs from an Azir always feels really good. Not the most ideal situation for him there. Perhaps just saw blood in the water. As Teddy. Ooh.
The curtains have been called. The final bullet was not enough to kill him, but did certainly put the fear of God in him. Andil will get knocked up, but does Shattering Strike Owner here as well. Andil just really wants to make sure this Brambleback goes over to it.
And you're winning out.
Oh, Carrier going for it once again here as Yukal trying to use his wall here and does manage to do so in the end. Even Carrier taking a lot of damage in trade. But putting that ult on cooldown. Big deal. Sponge throwing some daggers around. Doran was on the mind because he's in the top lane without Equalizer available. So won't be able to affect this fight here as Yukal once again softening up Carrier. He's only level 4 as that's a steal from Sponge. And Ona now trying to get out of there, but I don't know whether he's going to be able to. They just close the gap on that Crescent Guard as Faker looks for the Emperor's Divide. He gets it. Sponge goes on targetable, flashes from Carrier, and Carrier will be taken down. It's Andal that gets the kill, but now he's right on top of this teleport. The curtains, they've been called, doesn't land onto Sponge for the last bullet, and it's highway robbery! Flash that headbutt pole. That would have been like one of the classic Carrier God plays, you know? Gets the 3-man knock-up, then all of the AoE is layered. Doran might actually get there in time. Oh, it's a bit of an unfortunate situation. 4 grubs now for DRX as well.
Yeah, they get Dragon, they're looking for more.
Well, Carrier only level 5 here, and Sponge still trying to keep it interesting, but T1 should be able to get 2 of them. Good untargetable there as Andal. He's got other things on his mind. Shattering Strike comes down as Doran uses a very defensive ultimate. Yukal still doing a lot of damage though, as we can see, as Sponge is just bouncing around the rift. Another teleport to come in, this time from Faker. And Rich has followed suit, looking for an angle here as this scuffle will continue. Faker bleeding for now, but it's Andal that's the target, and he will be taken down immediately. It's traded, though, as Ona. That's a phenomenal ult, but I think he's still dead. The bleed is ticking, and he's still going to be taken out. That is a Yukal with a double. And this game.
I remember, too, at the beginning of the fight, Yukal had an opportunity to ult to kill Doran and decided not to use it because he knew there was higher value.
Yukal.
What a sick play there from Yukal.
The tins have been a little bit weird. Maybe it's just baked beans sometimes. As now Andal finds himself a cow. Carrier still level 5. And Andal has that Magnet Storm available. They're not going to be used. Well, Sponge going to get poked out here. We have to remember T1 do have scaling on their side. So DRX need to keep up the pace. Owner is going to spot him out. These daggers are not connecting. Rich on that flank angle, but he's on that ward. And headbutt out. No Magnet Storm for you, Andal. Still Carrier taking a lot of damage. That is going to be the Drake going over to Ona. Somehow that Shock Blast is actually going to miss. That's going to force Rich to flash away. Some decent damage here from the Between Worlds, but the answering Deadly Flourish is too good. And there is the shutdown.
Really over.
Well, there's an Emperor's Divide. Rich cannot go to the skies because he's been to the skies recently. Yukal is going to come down and see what he can do here as Doran is dead. Faker is under the turret, sets up his own, but I think Yukal will have enough damage to finish this off. It's going to take a bit of time as he flashes as well. Finally, the auto comes in.
With victories here as Rich comes over here to try to defend this turret. This is, you know, some LCK Cup Rich action right here. It seems like initially, but he does have a teleporting Yukal coming through, and he lives long enough to where this ends up being a double for Yukal. The Electrocute proc is actually what does Doran in, sadly for him, and then Faker kills the turret, sets up the Sun Disc, but unfortunately there's just not enough time to survive here. Even with Yukal taking that turret aggro, it doesn't do that much damage.
Yeah, getting the bone plating at the right timing there as well for Faker keeps him alive. Just barely missing here as Sponge throwing his daggers, both of them into Ona. That bleed That nerf needs to come in, because it just feels like it does a whole lot. Not going to be able to find that dagger. There, though, is Deadly Flourish now onto Teddy. He's going to have to get out of here. Does use the barrier. And Sponge tanking a few of these shots up. And my God, welcome back. Going to work out relatively well. Charge from the Rift Herald trying to come in here, and that is going to successfully happen.
Commit to it.
Yeah, he's pinging. And Andal is going to get headbutt pulled. Will need to get out of here, I think, and does do so from KT. I think that this might be able to work. We'll just have to see right now. Andal once I've seen this one before.
They keep almost killing him.
Yeah, he's going to crash down over that wall again after the Ignite comes in, but this time Owner is going to follow. He presses ult, wind becomes lightning, bullets become attached to Teddy, and Andal's going to walk his way up. But there is also a Baron coming up. This is Yukal. Oh, there's another headbutt ball. Carrier really wanted to pick up player of the match today, and I'll give it to him. That's going to be Owner taking down the kill.
They're going to start with Otacon, which is a bit of a scary choice.
Flanking. Carrier coming in, looking for it again. As Sponge going untargetable. Rich with some shock blast angles potentially. That equalizer, great spot, but Faker just wipes them off it. Andal trying to stay alive, and he will fail.
Teddy coming up here. Rich has this turret to play through.
Oh, God. Well, can the shock blast actually land? That's the question. The answer is no, because he's going to be dead. Carrier diving in one more time, and the doggo's on the ground. Teddy, another one of these doggos, is going to be in a bit of trouble as Carrier is down to 1 health, but he is still able to walk his way out. The flash comes in from Teddy, and that should still keep him alive. Okay, Yukal's flashing forward, does manage to take down the jungler. That might mean that Otacon is going to be okay. Deadly Flourish coming on in here as the 1-2 punch, and it's a double! Teddy, I don't know about that one though. The captive audience goes off, and I think Teddy knew that he was dead. Which
stops any potential Otacon take, but Teddy does give his life for it, and we reset.
Well, Andal crashing forward, and the curtains, they have been called. Andal, I mean, he's just dead. Sand Soldiers will take him down. Sponge a little bit late on that on-target ability, but it might be enough to get himself out of there. As Teddy gets over this wall, I believe unbeknownst, as he's now spotted.
Yukal is still big.
Oh, okay. Carrier is going to try and get in there. Sponge going untargetable. Emperor's Divide is going to throw Yukal in. He pops on over as Carrier likely to go down, but I think that's a decent trade. They've taken down the jungler as well. Not sure what Teddy was doing. And now Owner is going to be able to transition this into a Baron. Somehow it worked. I have no idea how that all sort of worked into itself, but it's, I mean, T1, I guess, calculated.
I mean, kills worth of gold, and what was a 1,000 gold lead for T1 is now a 5,000 gold lead.
Yeah, I think they might also be getting another one, as that was really cute from Rich. Nice
like
flash.
A fairly risky Baron. Really wasn't with the control they had, and I mean, I don't know if they might just win the game off this.
Well, Owner once again going in, gets the knock up, and down goes the doggo. The curtains have been called, and it may just be curtains on this game. Faker picking up a kill to start this one off. Carrier tanking as much as he would like. Remember, they have the withdraws at the same time, as Guma not quite able to land that one, but he flashes forward, and that should finish off the kill on T1, just controlling the map so well. And Faker now looking for an opportunity onto Yukal. Deadly Flourish connecting somehow. I didn't even see that. Double Pulverize comes through from Carrier. The layering of the equalizer is not quite enough, but that doesn't matter. I don't know about the ulti there from Yukal, but I think he was just really scared. And who would blame him as T1 are bearing down on the base?
T1 are just so good at playing the map, so good at playing around vision. Their coordination is matched by very few teams in the world, as Teddy is trying to hold the wave. I get he's dead.
I mean, he might actually kill both of them. Doran comes in with a scrap shield, so he's not going to die, as Faker was almost bleeding to death.
You know, a lot of AD carries just fall over and die there. At least he was able to get one back. It doesn't necessarily matter in this game when you see all the red arrows pointing to T1 with big numbers next to them.
Has augmented those first couple of items that felt underwhelming with an Infinity Edge and a Lord Dom, so he's doing plenty of damage now. Doran might need to be a little bit careful, I guess, but maybe he also doesn't, as Owner goes in, almost 3 taps. Sponge gets in another couple, and Faker is the one that actually finishes it off in the end. Equalizer just to celebrate, as Carrier looking for a bit of an angle here. He'll be able to get there, and my God, the damage of this Xin Zhao is obscene. And it's actually Gumayushi that finishes off a bunch of these kills. Doran, maybe move a little bit further out so you don't die to the Nexus turrets, but it doesn't matter. It's an ace. That's going to be the Nexus going down, and T1 in their first game looking pretty good.
And it's one of the strongest level 1s as well. Carrier will end up with this Rakan, which is kind of risky, to be honest. It's tough to engage on most of these champions. Like, Ahri is very mobile. Vi is not necessarily the target you want. She can engage on you as well and lock you in place.
Not a lot of
guided a lot of ships, but Faker has certainly guided a lot of ships, you know what I mean?
If Faker was to blow, would it be larger than Beetlejuice exploding, which is apparently something that is happening currently towards his red buff, but so is Sponge. Doran pulled back here as Rich having a pretty good time. Looks a little bit like a Skell from Xenoblade Chronicles X-Wolf in this skin. As Andal shows him the door. Not too much else going to come of it.
Yeah, no. Trying to get that bite.
Still no real punishment here. Azone is going to move in. That's Sponge that locks that one down.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Yeah.
Quite early.
Of the Vault Breaker there. He
Sponge
will be able to go back. Should be A-okay. You can see only 4 minions behind or something like that. As, oh dear, Doran in a little bit of trouble. One more and the flashes need to be traded. Doran will survive, but this is looking dicey. Why did you walk up?
Oh my God,
Why did he walk?
way.
Oh God, if there was another
If he died, I would have lost.
Still onto these grubs. Oh dear, okay. Still, that doesn't mean that Sponge can press an R button because he still doesn't have that one available. One grub has now been taken as Carrier looking for a grand entrance angle. The charm goes wide. That could spell the end for Yukal, but still looking for an angle. Flash out from Sponge. As Guma level 5, but does have that make it rain to slow him down.
To get the faster group there. And it's just moments like that where you're like, sure, 200 gold down, doesn't matter. As Carrier,
he's just going in. Ona might be able to take away the blue buff, but no, early smite there. As once again, had roamed up from the mid lane. And Carrier thinking about trying to find an angle here. Winter's Bite coming on through. Connects onto the Rakan as they turn their attention to Gumayushi. Level 6, now picked up. Teddy with the arrow.
Well, there was an angle there for an arrow. A very high bar that you set, so plays like this looking good.
Whoa, that was a pretty good arrow. Actually connects, nailed it onto Ona. Well played.
Accurate.
Nice play, Teddy. Extraordinarily even. 3 grubs went over to T1, but that is it when it comes to the objectives. Ona looking to augment that with a dragon at the same time, but now Sponge has an R button. Presses it, the charm is going to be found here, and this is the Ahri Vi combo. Not a lot Faker can do. Goes down very low, but Carrier, not enough to save him, and he's going to have to flash to safety. Yeah, certainly things are happening.
Yeah, I think it might be a ruinous game, you know, with all the damage. No, not quite, but...
ruinous game with like a 9-minute first blood.
Actually had to say, look, they're playing too far back. We can't engage on them, and also we're losing plates, so they had to make the decision to back away.
Ooh, another smite actually available here for Sponge, so he'll be able to grab the second one, but still 4-2.
Small advantage. These next few fights are really going to be where the game breaks open.
Ooh,
Sponge with a wraparound.
Oh dear. Doran could be in a whole lot of trouble here as he's not able to ult his way out. Good sidestep there as now Carrier comes in. Vault Breaker right on top of him. Gets the quickness down, and Sponge is now the target. Infernal Chains not really doing too much as Andal. He comes down. Nice arrow just supporting the rest of the team as it sails by. Maybe there were snacks on it and they got to pick a snack off the arrow to find some sustenance or something like that. Otherwise, it didn't do anything.
There was not a whole lot of vision for DRX on the river. I think that's part of why Sponge decided not to ult Carrier there, because he was scared about what it could mean for the upcoming fight. Is Andal?
Yeah, Andal is all the way up, but he's able to stand beside Sponge. And Faker finding some chains here, looking for the solo kill onto Yukal, but once again, it's going to be a charm landing. Meanwhile, more fighting here towards the bottom side of the map as the flash over the wall there, and another stand beside me.
If they just give this up. TP going to come down to try to defend it.
Yeah, so down he goes. Faker should just be able to focus on this, though, and you can see that is exactly what he wants, and there it is. Feats of Strength going on over, and the charm is even going to miss.
Sees an angle to commit to that fight, but otherwise can just get Feats of Strength and turret gold by finishing it off, and that's exactly what he did.
Ooh, Owner and Carrier all diving in. There's a public execution, and Rich, in the blink of an eye, is just dead.
Out of some big turrets that T1 are killing with their grub lead.
Still connects.
Nice catch by Owner.
Yeah, it may have missed, in fact. As cease and desist does come on through, Owner will, in fact, cease and or desist. The living thing, yeah, he's not feeling too great about it. Does get a bit of a heal as that's a great charm from Yukal, but another public execution as Teddy flashes out of the way and will be able to survive. Yukal grabbing that kill, big deal to try and get some more money onto the Ahri.
Rod is later, so he'll get more value out of the level up he'll get, but unfortunately he won't be here for this dragon, so it looks like DRX are just simply going to take their first of the game.
Say about things written on tins.
Yeah.
What does it actually say on the tin? As we're going to have to hold that thought. Ona Throwing Sponge out of there, delivered underneath the turret is slightly suboptimal, and immediately Sponge just goes down. Can they get the answering kill though, as Doran is dancing away from the fight? Charm connects onto Faker, but he is still looking for more. Chains go wide, Rich still at full health, and Faker may have overextended, but he's got another dash. The cavalry are coming down, but they're seen on the vision as the quickness dives forward, and there's the bullet time. They take down the Rakan though. It was an awkward situation, and the turret is also going to fall. Ultimately, in the end, I think it was just completely even.
Yeah, it's just a 1-for-1 support for jungle.
And Valdez didn't even learn about what was written on the tin.
Yeah,
and he gets into the pit. Now it's an opportunity to kick out onto Andal through Rich here. But it is going to be Faker that locks down the Dragon. That's kind of crazy. Sponge goes in, but Rich is in amongst it as well. The bullet time interrupted pretty quickly, but DRX are just kind of melting. Finally, they find some angles, and Rich getting the huge heals as he looks to exit. It was an even fight until then. Faker dives forward, looks for Rich, but he doesn't get it. The Infernal Chains, and it's Yucal that locks down the kill. Orbit Deception coming on through here, but there's a right click, and Gumayushi's able to take down a single ward.
Yeah, it's exact same situation as game 1.
All right, well, the arrow is going to connect onto Doran. This Otacon is extraordinarily low as Yucal looking to make his way in. The public execution is fantastic as Faker is going to turn up as well. He picks up an arrow. Down goes Carrier to start this one off, but Faker's gone golden. He's bought so much time, and Rich just cannot do enough. He's now looking to get onto Doran in that backline, but he's just a distraction. As now Rich flapping after them, looking for a bit of an angle here. But yeah, I mean look, that bullet time just didn't feel like it did quite enough as Doran once again caught out of position. The Infernal Chains pulls him back, but he uses the ulti, and Sponge is actually the one that falls down. This time, Carey is able to keep himself alive, and Rich is trying to be the hero, but it's not enough. He's CC'd and put down, and now T1 will find themselves that advantage they've been looking for.
And we had the fight, you know, we jumped into it a little bit late. I'd love to see exactly how the setup worked and how DRX thought they were going to win that exchange or the engage there. But put themselves in such a risky spot, and Teddy is just not able to actually front to back with his team when the front line goes.
Is going to stop Andal from following up, and Chains are going to connect. Faker going in one more time as World Enders happening across the board. But with a Mountain Soul available, I think Faker is definitely just a distraction at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, DRX are playing like they're the ones who have the withdrawals.
Oh, good dash to get out of the way of the arrow. And in the meantime, it is going to be Mountain Soul. Faker will be taken, or at least withdrawn. And now they're going in. Okay, Carrier is going to deliver Sponge to the rest of the team. And I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I think Sponge was reminded about how his ultimate works by Carrier there in that moment.
Yeah, and also reminded that the rest of his team was off killing Faker as Yucal going to be dashing away from Ona here.
You mean withdrawing Faker?
Yes, there we go. They were withdrawing Faker. Doran is going to try and ult, but does not quite manage to do so. Gumayusi just going to get them out of there, as Ona is continuing to chase Yucal as much as he possibly can, while the rest of his team are looking to win the game. Faker has popped back up again, and he is just going to teleport to this mid lane. Ultimate from Andal not going to do too much, as Faker's going to land that arrow. That is no worries at all. Going golden as the rest of these Nexus turrets fall down, and T1, I mean, it was kept even for quite some time, but they dispatch of the Nexus.